Hey guys, Fearless Front here again, doing another racing lawnmower update. This will be number 9. Today we're going to concentrate on mounting the footholds, or the Nerf bars if you will, and basically try to finish up the major construction of the frame. That'll pretty much be the last piece besides maybe some brake caliper mounts and things of that nature. But for the most part, the frame's getting really close to done, and this is really the last big piece to the puzzle. So last week we left off, I basically assembled everything just to check clearances for these very footrests. And I've pretty much figured out where I want them, and that's kind of mounted. This piece is going to be just behind this angle. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to run this steel rod into this pipe. These are basically pipe. And they're going to kind of run through the frame and weld into that engine mount to give them a little bit more strength. So now that we know kind of what we're doing and where we're going with these, I can go ahead and actually take all the components back off the racing lawnmower, because as I weld, I really don't want to get slag all over all my new parts, my new rims, my tie rods, my new rear axle, and plus my garage really isn't the most watertight thing, so vapor has a tendency to come in here and rust things even though they're not getting really physically wet. So I want to get all my new parts, my axle and stuff like that out of here so nothing rusts before I have time to paint it. So here's the frame stripped down yet again. All the parts are boxed up. The important ones are inside the house, nice and safe. And we're going to get ready to mount these foot bars. So now that we've got the frame notched out there, we're going to take these pieces of cold rolled steel and they're going to set in there just like that and weld into the old engine mounting plate and, you know, weld into the frame here, and that will allow our footholds to basically, well, I can't do this with one hand really, but it'll slide on like that and weld in, and there'll be a lot more support than if it was just kind of passing through the frame. On the back side, I don't have the luxury of having that engine mount to weld to. So what we're going to do back here is put them in basically the same idea, but we're going to take this 3/4 inch box steel and basically put it in like that. You can see right there, going across the frame laterally, and these will pass into the box steel on the inside, and that will offer a lot more support than if I was to weld it right where it sits. Now that we got our notches all cleaned up, I say it's time to cut our box steel back. We'll get that installed and we'll weld those pins in. So you see we got our cross brace welded in there. It's pretty straight. I made a mistake on the measurement back here, but I was able to find it before I welded this thing in, luckily. But basically what's going to happen now is these cold rolled rods, they kind of fit in like that. And I'm probably going to drill some holes down through here and plug weld them just so they're in there, weld them in here obviously, and just way overdo it with the weld out here. And then these things will basically slide over, kind of like that. And then it will land on the front one up there, which is not in there right now obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to set up. It should be really sturdy when it's done. Alright, so we got our holes drilled, and we got our cold roll steel ready to go in. So we got our little tack welds there for the front. Not fully in obviously, but we're going to take our foot bar here and see how it goes on. Looks pretty good. Sits flush up against the frame. Yeah, fits snug. I like it. I'm going to finish weld these front ones and do the other side. The pegs are all welded in on all four corners, ready to have the footholds mounted to them, but unfortunately my camera battery is flashing at me. So that's going to stop me from continuing tonight. I'm going to charge this up and we'll get right back at it tomorrow. Alright, so we're back at it again. I did a little bit more work after the batteries died last night, but nothing major. You can see these side Nerf bars here. All I really did was drilled some holes down through. And that's basically going to enable me to weld these onto these two pins that we did last night. Similar in how I did it right here with this box steel. Just kind of filling in the little circle with weld and kind of gives a little better connection in addition to welding it here and whatnot. So there you see our side bars smashed into place. There's our holes ready to be welded. Alright, so after much welding, we got these four pieces, or four ends I should say, welded on to the frame. We haven't done the holes yet. Got lots of smoke here in the barn. Turn the lights off. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. But next, we're gonna plug weld our little holes here. There's one on each side, so there's 8 holes total. So that'll take a little bit of time. Let's get started on that. Run up the electricity bill a little bit more. Smoking. So you can see we got them welded fully on. The plug welds are done, front and back, top and bottom. It seems fairly strong. Can't really tell much now until I get to stand on the thing, but that'll be perfect for the footholds, nice and sturdy. Next thing we're going to do is weld some steel strapping from the bottom across to the bottom of this frame, and do that in probably 2 places, I think. And what that'll do is allow some structural support for our expanded steel mesh, and we're going to cut out sections of that like rectangles similar to the shape of this bar. So what'll happen is these little pieces will drop in and basically bolt down to that strapping. So that loud sound you just heard was my saw blade removing a chunk from itself. Right there. Didn't even cut my metal all the way. Took a chunk out of me though. Looks a little worse than it is. It's actually like only cut right there, but yeah, maybe I should put some gloves on. Use some clamps. So they say there's 1,001 uses for these shop towels. We're gonna clean up some blood. The absorption is fantastic. Meat. So we got our 4 flat steel pieces, and I've got the frame sort of marked where they're gonna go, and I got this part of the metal prepped, and we're pretty much ready to weld those in. Looks pretty cool. I like it. Nice and uniform. Lots of welding gone on here. So that's pretty much it for this update, you guys. Probably the next one we will try to mount the steel mesh into the foothold. Also hopefully get some brake hardware and maybe some more rear axle hardware. I need a sprocket, I need some chain, I need an idler pulley, I need all my brakes. What do you guys think? Should I go hydraulic brakes? Should I go mechanical brakes? Mechanical brakes are nice and reliable. Hydraulic brakes are like the wave of the future and they're supposed to be really powerful, but really I don't think I need anything that powerful for something this small. So let me know what you guys think about that. It's basically only going to have rear brakes. There are no front brakes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, please rate it up. It only takes a second. It really helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next update.